I didn't say that. Are we having a talk show or a serious conversation?
Here's the quote. Thank you.
Why does he always act like someone tickled his nuts? Putin is a 7 dragon. Whoa. 2 7s? Thinker. Whoa. I think someone DM'd me, they're like, another 7 was like one of the island boys. Sometimes it's weird, bro. Like a thinker is an island boy or a Putin. Cleopatra said she spoke like 5 different languages and all that. She's very like super intelligent. Anyways, she said she would get some herbs and spices and put them together and it would fix hair loss, right? And I always wonder, I'm like, these billionaires like Putin, like, don't they have the secrets to hair loss? Like, do I think about that too much? Or
Moreover, the president of Ukraine has legislated a ban on negotiating with Russia. He signed a decree forbidding everyone to negotiate with Russia. But how are we going to negotiate if he forbade himself and everyone to do this? We know that he is putting forward some ideas about this settlement.
the most mind-blowing thing about the world is that it's always been the socialists who believe in private property versus communists who want to abolish it. That's the two opposing forces. In other words, Zionism and Jewish communism, blue-red. Yeah, we're meant to believe that it's like, oh, free market capitalism versus like, bro, Hitler said capitalista and comunista, the worst people. He said both of them are like the same shit. Well, not the same shit, but from the same source, the Jews. And now it makes sense to me that if you're nationalistic about your nation and a socialist, that makes sense. Like that actually works. I get that. I'm no longer afraid of the word socialism if I'm running a state, a super state.
But in order to agree on something, we need to have a dialogue. Is that not right?
Now it's seen
But
as
you wouldn't be
both the
speaking to the
same
Ukrainian
shit.
president, you'd be speaking to the American
Because in
president.
America,
When
everything's
was the last
left.
time you spoke to Joe Biden?
I cannot remember when I talked to him. I do not remember. We can look it up.
You don't remember?
No. Why? Do I have to remember everything? I have my own things to do. We have domestic political affairs.
Well, he's funding the war that you're fighting, so I would think that would be memorable.
Well, yes, he funds, but I talked to him before the special military operation, of course. And I said to him then, by the way, I will not go into details, I never do, but I said to him then, I believe that you are making a huge mistake of historic proportions by supporting everything that is happening there, in Ukraine, by pushing Russia away. I told him repeatedly, by the way. I think that would be correct if I stop here.
What did he say?
Ask him, please. It is easier for you. You are a citizen of the United States. Go and ask him. It is not appropriate for me to comment on our conversation.
But you haven't spoken to him since before February of 2022.
No, we haven't spoken. If you really want to stop fighting, you need to stop supplying weapons. It will be over within a few weeks. That's it. And then we can agree on some terms. Before you do that, stop. What's easier?
Yeah,
Why would
that's
I call
not
him?
happening.
What
This
should I
sounds
talk to him about?
paranoid, but anytime they do this, I feel like it's a green screen. Like he's not actually there. Like, you know what I mean? They fucked up so many times with this.
Started, what's happening, and most pressingly, how it began. One note before you watch. At the beginning of the
Like, be honest, wouldn't he have like something for the snow? Or did they add those flakes to make it realistic? Like, am I being too much, bro, or is this phony?
interview, we asked the most obvious question, which is, why did you do this? Did you feel a threat, an imminent physical threat, and that's your justification? And the answer we got shocked us. Putin went on for a very long time, probably half an hour, about the history of Russia going back to the 8th century. And honestly, we thought this was a filibustering technique and found it annoying and interrupted him several times. And he responded he was annoyed by the interruption. But we concluded in the end, for what it's worth, that it was not a filibustering technique. There was no time limit on the interview. We ended it after more than 2 hours. Instead, what you're about to see seemed to us sincere, whether you agree with it or not. Vladimir Putin believes that Russia
Putin interviews are usually good. Does he ramble and yap like people have said?
has a historic claim to parts of Western Ukraine.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, bro, when I watched the clip of him talking about the history of Russia, I couldn't imagine anything more boring. Like, maybe too Amero-brained, but holy f*** did I realize I don't give a fuck about the world. Bro, when he started going, well, we gotta... I think I'm skipping that part, man.
So our opinion would be to view it in that light, as a sincere expression of...
Should we meme this? Yeah, let's do it.
Mr. President, thank you. On February 22nd, 2022, you addressed your country in a nationwide address when the conflict in Ukraine started. And you
Okay, that tie is fucking nice. Okay? That tie is so fucking nice. You know what I think about when I see Putin's bald head? Check this out. Zherka, should I f my ex? No, she's busy. Out of here, bro. You throw me off. I hate my chat because we try and get serious in this bitch, bro. Why are you asking that? Check it out. Was it? Yeah, Cleopatra said she spoke like 5 different languages and all that. She's very like super intelligent for a woman. Anyways, she said she would get some herbs and spices and put them together and it would fix hair loss, right? And I always wonder, I'm like, these billionaires like Putin, like, don't they have the secrets to hair loss? Like, do I think about that too much? Or you have $1 billion, at least Trump, he's got, you know? When I think of Trump and Putin, Trump mogs Putin, bro.
You said that you were acting because you had come to the conclusion that the United States, through NATO, might initiate a, quote, surprise attack on our country. And to American ears, that sounds paranoid. Tell us why you believe the United States
tie.
would strike
Putin's got a nice
out of the blue. How did you conclude that?
Violet.
It's not that America, the United States, was going to launch a surprise strike on Russia.
Okay, bro, speak English. Speak the master race. What the f is this, bro? We know you can speak it. You kidding me? Speak the master language that rules the world. We don't want to hear this.
I didn't say that. Are we having a talk show or a serious conversation?
Here's the quote. Thank you.
Why does he always act like someone tickled his nuts?
It's a formidable series.
Because your basic education is in history as far as I understand.
Yes.
Margarito Canales donated $5.
I will take only 30
Tucker
seconds or 1
Carlson's
minute to
tie
give
are
you
the
a short
color of
reference
the
in history
Azave
for
Brigade.
giving you a little historical background.
Please.
Remember, they're like, Zherka, are you on Ukraine or Russia's side? I'm like, well, Russia has the Nazis with the Wagner group. But then the Azov Battalion are literal Nazis too. They're both so cool. I don't know which way to go. Yo, bro, I was on a call with 4 Twitch admins saying, what are you doing? We just got you back. And I'm like, bro, it's comedy. Yo, imagine saying that on Twitch.
Let's look where our relationship with Ukraine started from.
Okay.
Where did Ukraine come from? The Russian states.
Nobody gives a fuck. We gotta skip some of this, bro. Like, I saw some of this and I was like, whoa. Yap.
Whoever claimed that Ukraine should have a very good relationship with Russia. They insisted on that. After the 1917 revolution, the Bolsheviks sought to restore the statehood and the civil war began, including the hostilities with Poland. In 1921, peace with Poland was proclaimed, and under that treaty, the right...
Putin, you're lucky NATO don't bomb your ass to smithy. I'm kidding. Okay. It's just every time I see these international big spectacle interviews, I think of myself as like, why are they so afraid of America? America is like...
bank of Dnieper River once again was given back to Poland.
America is so powerful, they became trans. They rule the world cutting their cocks off. That's the most badass. Can you imagine? We got nothing left to do. We conquered everyone. What did you say about my fucking pronouns?
In 1939, after Poland cooperated with Hitler.
Chop it off.
He did collaborate with Hitler, you know? Hitler offered Poland peace and a treaty of friendship.
Okay, he's incriminating Hitler. L. Putin. What the f***?
And alliance.
What did Hitler do to anybody? What did Hitler ever do to a human? I'm kidding. Bro, it's comedy. Kidding.
Hence, demanding in return that Poland...
Yo, we're joking.
Margarito Canales donated $5.
Hit it.
That's not the same Vladimir Putin that kissed the Wailing Wall.
Oh, this argument that it's a different Putin. I mean, they look the same. When he's young and old, they look just hormonally different.
Poland give back to Germany the so-called Danzig corridor, which connected the bulk of Germany with East Prussia and Königsberg. After World War I, this territory was transferred to Poland, and instead of Danzig, a city of Dansk emerged. Hitler asked them to give it amicably, but they refused.
Of course.
Still, they collaborated with
Tucker's
Hitler
face
and
always
engaged
looks like,
together
do I have to take a shit?
in the partitioning of Czechoslovakia.
May I ask you, you're making the case that Ukraine, certainly parts of Ukraine, Eastern Ukraine, is in effect Russia has been for hundreds of years. Why wouldn't you just take it when you became president 24 years ago? You have nuclear weapons, they don't. If it's actually your land, why did you wait so long?
I'll tell you. I'm coming to that. This briefing is coming to an end. It might be boring, but it
It's not
explains
boring.
many things.
Just don't know how it's relevant.
Good. Good.
Oh, look at it. Look how his feet moved here. This, I'm not even trolling right now, is high levels of tension. Oh, is that sound? That's gay as horny L. Check it out. Look how his feet move. He's so frustrated, but he has to act stoic.
Be boring, but it
It's not
explains
boring.
many things.
Just don't know how it's relevant.
Oh,
Good. Good. I'm so gratified that you appreciate that. Thank you. So, before World War II, Poland collaborated with Hitler, and although it did not yield to Hitler's demands, it still participated in the partitioning of Czechoslovakia together with Hitler, as the Poles had not given the Danzig corridor to Germany and went too far, pushing Hitler to start World War II by attacking them. Why was it Poland against whom the war started?
I wish I could just be in that interview as a ghost and materialize for a second and just pull up both of their wrists to show their Scarlet Kabbalah Jewish bracelets because they're owned Jew dogs.
On 1st September 1939, Poland turned out to be uncompromising, and Hitler had nothing to do but start implementing his
Sleeve,
plans with Poland.
not wrist.
By the way, the USSR, I have read some archive documents, behaved very honestly. It asked Poland's permission to transit its troops through the Polish territory to help Czechoslovakia. But the then Polish foreign minister said that if the
What? Russia behaved honestly? Or the USSR behaved honestly? But you're Putin. Would you ever say they didn't?
Soviet planes flew over Poland, they would be
Well, what's the
down
point
on
of
the
that?
territory of Poland. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that the war began, and Poland fell prey to the policies it had pursued against Czechoslovakia, as under the well-known Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Part of the territory, including western Ukraine, was to be given to Russia. Thus, Russia, which was
There's no George Washington in this origin story. It's kind of... Let's skip it. Yo, man, chill. We're doing... Fabian, what are you doing, bro?
Fabian donated $10.
Oh, Fabian.
Zherka, I am 8 life path born year of the dragon with dog energy in me based on a reading from one of GG 33 Fools. 1410-2000. Why am I lost?
How are you born in the year of the dragon as a dog? They're enemy signs. Which side are you on, bro? Are you like a transgender Chinese zodiac?
Stalin insisted that those republics be included in the USSR as autonomous entities. For some inexplicable reason, Lenin, the founder of the Soviet state, insisted that they
Putin's
be
God donated $5. Do you think Putin gets hot girls?
Yeah, I could see it. I could see him take down some Romanov pussy. And I feel like he's a big escort guy. Like he pays for it. I can't imagine him like serenading a bitch and right. But he's got high level status and network, so he gets a lot. He has to.
entitled to withdraw from the USSR. And again, for some unknown reasons, he transferred to that newly established Soviet Republic of Ukraine some of the lands together with people living there, even though those lands had never been called Ukraine, and yet they were made part of that Soviet Republic of Ukraine. Those lands included the Black Sea region, which was received under Catherine the Great, and which had no historical connection with Ukraine whatsoever. Even if we go as far back as 1654, when these lands returned to Russian Empire, that territory was the size of 3 to 4 regions of modern Ukraine, with no Black Sea region. That was completely out of the question.
In 1654.
Exactly.
You obviously didn't take any knowledge of this region, but why didn't you make this case for the first 22 years as president that Ukraine wasn't a real country?
I miss Megyn Kelly,
Given
bro.
a great deal of
Turn off
territory
getting
that
on.
had never belonged to it, including the Black Sea region. At some point, when Russia received them as an outcome of the Russo-Turkish Wars,
And Putin, what did the Wailing Wall of Judaism taste like? Imagine we could ask world leaders that. Oh, then we'd have to ask my guy too. Wait, he didn't. He just touched it. Oh, it's all the same.
they were called New
The black pill is you need Jesus, bro. No idol worship.
Russia or Novorossiya. But that does
I mean,
not
the
matter.
white pill.
What matters is that Lenin, the founder of the Soviet state, established Ukraine that way. For decades, the Ukrainian Soviet Republic.
Like, if you guys don't understand the significance of that touching, licking, kissing, or if you're a Jew and you do this movement when you're praying, this is pretty much. I'm not even joking, bro. I go deep in this. I'm not lying to you, but what you play, you're doing in the spirit realm. So play is all spirit, and so yeah, don't touch that wall.
Developed as part of the USSR. And for unknown reasons, again, the
Is this a
Bolsheviks were
snooze
engaged in
fest?
Ukrainian
Yeah, we're gonna skip some of this, bro. First hour, we're not skipping an hour.
voice in support of Serbs, because Serbs are also a special and close to us nation, with Orthodox culture and so on. It's a nation that has suffered so much for generations. Well, regardless, what is important...
Why can't the Catholics... why can't NATO just go full... Imagine NATO just went full Catholic and the star went back into an elemental Hyperborean Aryan symbol. And why can't just the Catholic superpowers of the world just bomb every other country to death? I'm kidding.
is that Yeltsin expressed his support.
Is Tucker
what
a
the
Christian?
United States do.
I don't even
in violation
remember.
of international law and the UN Charter,
He's like
it
a
started bombing Belgrade. It
pragmatic
was the United
Christian.
States that let the genie out of the bottle. Moreover, when Russia protested and expressed its resentment, what was said? The UN Charter and international law have become obsolete. Now everyone invokes international law, but at that time they started saying that everything was outdated. Everything had to be changed. Indeed, some things need to be changed, as the balance of power has changed. It's true, but not in this manner. Yeltsin was immediately dragged through the mud, accused of alcoholism, of understanding nothing,
I mean, there's footage of him being an alcoholic, right?
of knowing nothing. He understood everything, I assure you. Well,
Yeltsin was the cuffum.
I became
He's the cuffum of...
Margarito Canales donated $5. Hey Zherka. The Argentina president went to kiss and cry at the wall this week too.
Yeah.
They're all evil and on the same team.
Based. But you don't want to tell chat that because they need idols.
president in 2000, I thought, okay, the Yugoslav issue is over, but we should try to restore relations.
Can we skip some of
Let's
this,
reopen the
chat?
door that Russia had tried to go through. And moreover, I said it publicly, I can't reiterate. At a meeting here in the Kremlin with the outgoing President Bill Clinton, right here in the next room, I said to him,
Putin is a 7 dragon. Whoa. 2 7s? Thinker. Whoa. I think someone DM me, they're like, another 7 was like one of the island boys. Sometimes it's weird, bro. Like a thinker is an island boy or a Putin.
I asked him,
Maybe I'm wrong about that. It was
do you
someone
think if
funny
Russia
though.
asked to join NATO, do you think it would happen? Suddenly he said, you know, it's interesting. I think so. But in the evening, when we met for dinner, he said, you know, I've talked to my team. No, it's not possible now. You can ask him. I think he will watch our interview. He'll confirm it. I wouldn't have said anything like that if it hadn't happened. Okay,
Were you
well,
sincere?
It's impossible now.
Would you have joined NATO?
Look, I asked the question, is it possible or not? And the answer I got was no. If I was insincere in my desire to find out what the leadership position...
Anon donated $5. Is Putin also a part of a global cabal, or is his rivalry to the Western order organic? Does this guy also do black magic? Also f*** Russia, they ruin a chance at a white Christian Western world, and they love hairy Kazakh Muslim youth dick.
I mean, go to my Twitter if you want the answer. It's pretty wild. Twitter.com/ZherkaOfficial.
It was.
But if he had said yes, would you have joined NATO?
If he had said yes, the process of rapprochement would have commenced, and eventually it might have happened if we had seen some sincere wish on the other side of our partners. But it didn't happen. Well, no means no. Okay, fine.
Why do you think that is? Just to get to motive. I know you're clearly bitter about it. I understand. But why do you think the West rebuffed you then? Why the hostility? Why did the end of the Cold War not?
Russians are not Jew slaves like you guys.
Fix the relationship? What motivates this from your point of view?
You said I was bitter about the answer. No, it's not bitterness. It's just a statement of fact. We're not bride and groom, bitterness, resentment. It's not about those kind of matters in such circumstances. We just realized we weren't welcome there, that's all. Okay.
I mean, the Bible says this. Like, it's easier for a rich man to go through the eye of a needle than it is to inherit the kingdom of heaven. Bro, if you're a billionaire, pretty sure you're with the devil. I mean, I'm not saying you're with the devil all the time, but you definitely slip that way more often. I feel like Trump had, 2016 he had like a way back to God, and then he had to fly back to Israel. And,
Fine. But let's build relations in another manner. Let's look for common ground elsewhere. Why we receive such a negative response, you should ask your leaders. I can only guess why. Too big a country with its own opinion and so on. And the United States?
You know what's weird about me? I still remember risking all that internet fame and stuff doing the JQ before it was legal to do, really. And on Rumble, Nick, Sneeko, Myron, we all did it. It was really my idea. And I would rather be in history remembered as a Kanye who said it than hang with the billionaires that keep winning. I feel like to be remembered as a Jew dog is not really you know what I mean? It's not really the legacy I would ever want.
I've seen how issues are being resolved in NATO. I will give you another example now concerning Ukraine. The US leadership exerts pressure, and all NATO members obediently vote, even if they do not like something. Now, I'll tell you what happened in this regard with Ukraine in 2008, although it's being discussed. I'm not going to open a secret to you, say anything new. Nevertheless, after that we tried to build relations in different ways.
Sometimes I think about Hitler, bro. Bro, Hitler had so many chances to be bought out by the Jews. And he said, "F off, I'm going door to door." That's how it began. And he got a small donation door to door from every single 98% approval rate, which is nasty. And the Jews were like, whoa, he doesn't need our money. He just got 98% of the nation to give him a small loan. That is a real populist when you think about it. Hitler was a 33, he's not no 5. And when you look into the occult aspects of World War II, bro, Hitler was literally communicating with something that was telling him, hey, they're going to make all your children transgender. So he's communicating with crazy spiritual world shit. And
for example, the events in the Middle East, in Iraq. We were building relations with the United States in a very soft, prudent, cautious manner. I repeatedly raised the issue that the United States should not...
Like, look, bro, whether you think Hitler's a bad guy or a good guy, effective, man. He was, whoa. He did what Genghis Khan and these guys dreamt of. Like, Genghis Khan was raping, pillaging for, like, some grass. And Hitler, when you think of taking over the world in less than 2 years, like some of you guys are in college, bro, before you get a degree, Italy, Japan, and Germany were everything. That's it. That is wild, man. And then, I mean, there's two ways I can see it. Like, if you think about it, Hitler did win.
Let's go, pal. I'm making a withdrawal here.
Zherka donated $5.
What is
What
that?
if Hitler was a crusader all this time?
Yeah, he's in this chat. I would love to meet Hitler just to ask him, like, just hug him. I'm kidding. We're fucking trolling, bro. I'm just waking up. I need a coffee. Is any YouTuber ever gonna make that joke? Whew, I'm sweating, bro. I gotta go kiss a wall. I gotta go lick a wall. Bro, say what? Listen, I can make the argument that, oh man, there's a nasty book about Hitler being a communist spy. And bro, there's something there that he just left everything for Russia. And then there's two opposing blue and red factors in the world. You're either a communist or a socialist. There's nothing else. And they're not really alike, especially back then.
Margarito Canales donated $10. Do you believe the nuclear bomb exists?
Not the way they say, but yeah, I believe in big bombs and stuff. But when they say the fireball can wipe out Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, like, I don't buy into that, because give me a fucking break, dude. Like, have you seen the footage of them detonating nukes? Look at this shit. This is hilarious. Yeah, I believe in big bombs for sure, but yeah, it just disintegrates everything, right? Oh, Red Bull commercial.
Getting the HPV.
This fucking broke bitch puncher in her gut. Look at this shit.
Let's go, pal. I'm making it with girls here.
Hitler needs God donated $5. If God talked to you and said kill all these Jews, will you do it?
Thou shalt not murder. God wouldn't say that. Yeah, I'm having a problem with how did the camera survive? Because you can't say the camera just zoomed in from far away, because the explosion radius would get the camera, no doubt. Like, come on, bro. That's just a bomb. How's that a... You can't even touch the camera's like... You know, are you kidding me? It's in a bubble, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. This is the Cuffin bomb. It doesn't hit like how you think it would hit. Uh-oh. Feels like war propaganda, bro. It's like 99% of people who watch this go, "Oh my god, I'm so scared." Like, that's exactly what they want. I don't know. Is like a camera surviving that? Maybe it's not what they
support separatism or terrorism in the North Caucasus. But they continue to do it anyway. And political support, information support, financial support, even military support came from the United States and satellites for terrorism.
Bro hid in the fridge. Yeah, the camera was in a fridge too. It's a transparent fridge.
Groups in the Caucasus. I once raised this issue with my colleague, also the President of the United States. He says, "It's impossible. Do you have proof?" I said, "Yes." I was prepared for this conversation, and I gave him that proof. He looked at it, and you know what he said? "I apologize, but that's what happened." I'll quote. He says, "Well, I'm gonna kick their ass." We waited and waited for some response. There was no reply. I said to the FSB director, "Write to the CIA, what is the result of the conversation with President?" He wrote once,
Did he come into power in a dragon year?
twice, and then we got a reply. We have the answer in the archive. The CIA replied, "We have been working with the opposition in Russia. We believe that this is the right thing to do, and we will keep on doing it." Just ridiculous.
Jeez.
Well, okay. We realized that it was out of the question.
Forces in opposition to you. So you're saying the CIA is trying to overthrow your government?
Of course, they meant in that particular case the separatists, the terrorists who fought with us in the Caucasus. That's who they called the opposition. This is the second point. The third moment is a very important one, is the moment when the US missile defense system was created. The beginning. We persuaded for a long time not to do it in the United States. Moreover, after I was invited by Bush Jr.'s father, Bush Sr., to visit his place on the ocean, I had a very serious conversation with President Bush and his team. I proposed that the United States, Russia, and Europe jointly create a missile defense system that, we believe, if created unilaterally, threatens our security, despite the fact that the United States officially said that it was being created against missile threats from Iran. That was the justification for the deployment of the missile defense system. I suggested working together, Russia, the United States, and Europe. They said it was very interesting. They asked me, "Are you serious?" I said, "Absolutely."
Let me ask, what year was this?
I don't remember. It is easy to find out on the internet when I was in the USA at the invitation of Bush Sr. It is even easier to learn from someone I'm going to tell you about. I was told it was very interesting. I said, just imagine if we could tackle such a global strategic security challenge together.
Crusader
The world will change.
donated
We'll probably have
$8.88.
disputes, probably economic and even political
Which
ones,
books
but we
reveal
could
the
drastically
occult
change.
side of Hitler and that party?
I think it was Thule Society by, I don't remember the name, something called Thule Society. That's where I started.
The situation in the world. He says yes, and
Or
asks,
Thule,
are you serious?
however you want to
I
say
said,
it.
of course. We need to think about it, I'm told.
Yeah, it's Thule, it's not Thule. That's not how you say it.
I said, go ahead, please. Then Secretary of Defense Gates, former director of CIA, and Secretary of State Rice came in here, in this cabinet, right here at this table. They sat on this table. Me, the foreign minister, the Russian defense minister on that side. They said to me, yes, we have thought about it. We agree. I said, thank God, great. But with some exceptions.
So twice you've described U.S. presidents making decisions and then being undercut by their agency heads. So it sounds like you're describing a system that's not run by the people who were elected in your telling.
That's right, that's right. In the end, they just told us to get lost. I'm not going to tell you the details because I think it's incorrect. After all, it was confidential conversation. But our proposal was declined, that's a fact. It was right then when I said, look, but then we will be forced to take countermeasures. We will create such strike systems that will certainly overcome missile defense systems. The answer was, we are not doing this against you and you do what you want, assuming that it is not against us, not against the United States. I said, okay. Very well. That's the way it went. And we created hypersonic systems with intercontinental range, and we continue to develop them. We are now ahead of everyone, the United States and the other countries, in terms of the development of hypersonic strike systems, and we are improving them every day. But it wasn't us. We proposed to go the other way, and we were pushed back. Now, about NATO's expansion to the east. Well, we were promised no NATO to the east, not an inch to the east, as we were told. And then what? They said, well, it's not enshrined on paper, so we'll expand. So there were 5 waves of expansion, the Baltic states, the whole of Eastern Europe, and so on. And now I come to the main thing. They have come to the Ukraine, ultimately. In 2008, at the summit in Bucharest, they declared that the doors for Ukraine and Georgia to join NATO were open. Now about how decisions are made there. Germany, France seem to be against it, as well as some other European countries. But then, as it turned out later, President Bush, and he's such a tough guy, a tough politician, as I was told later, he exerted pressure on us and we had to agree. It's ridiculous, it's like kindergarten. Where are the guarantees? What kindergarten is this? What kind of people are these? Who are they? You see, they were pressed, they agreed. And then they say, Ukraine won't be in the NATO, you know? I say, I don't know. I know you agreed in 2008. Why won't you agree in the future? Well, they pressed us then. I say, why won't they press you tomorrow? And you'll agree again. Well, it's nonsensical. Who's there to talk to? I just don't understand. We're ready to talk. But with whom? Where are the guarantees? None. So they started to develop the territory of Ukraine. Whatever is there, I have told you the background, how this territory developed, what kind of relations there were with Russia. Every second or third person there has always had some ties with Russia.
Zherka, do you believe in not letting Russia join NATO? Well, this is a Catholic channel, and the Orthodox have been a thorn at the papacy's side since they came out our butthole. They literally respawned these niggas.
Let's go, pal. I'm making it with girls here.
Zherka donated $5. Then why did God order to kill children and women in the Old Testament? I ask you again, if God told you to kill Jews and become Hitler, would you do it?
That's a stupid question, bro. And that's like a huge... You want me to go into a metaphysical answer about the Old Testament? All right, here's how it works. They were demons. They're literally sacrificing babies, right? I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, God, what are you asking me to kill a human being? I couldn't even swear at one, bro. I'm Jon Zherka. I'm a pacifist. What do you want me to assault a Jew on the street? Isn't HS's half Jew, right? I already did. I've done that. ADIN's a Jew too. I went after that.
During the elections in already independent, sovereign Ukraine, which gained its independence as a result of the Declaration of Independence. And by the way...
Remember when I rolled out of bed from a threesome to go steal $50,000 from ADIN with one arm? You try to switch it? It's Zherka. No. Bro, if I bring you 250,000 live viewers, just give me the money. You owe me a lot more than 50 bands, you.
It says that Ukraine
I have
is
a lot of
neutral
experience
state,
with these
and in
Jews.
2008, suddenly the doors or gates to NATO were open to it. Oh, come on. This is not how we agreed. Now, all the presidents that have come to power in Ukraine, they relied on electorate with a good attitude to Russia in one way or the other. This is the southeast of Ukraine. This is a large number of people. And it was very difficult to dissuade this electorate.
But do you guys, there's a lot of people wanting to see Sneeko fighting, Rumble Sneeko.
Which had a positive attitude towards Russia. Viktor Yanukovych came to power, and how? The first time he won after President Kuchma.
Oh my god.
Had been done legally, without victims.
Where does he accuse him of being CIA? Which we all knew that.
Field supported the coup. Although it was meaningless, believe me. Because President Yanukovych agreed to all conditions, he was ready to hold an early election which he had no chance of winning, frankly speaking. Everyone knew that. Then why
Wait, the Miskiv fight is on camera?
Why the victims? Why threatening Crimea? Why launching
we
an
see that,
operation in
or-
Donbass? This I do not understand. That is exactly what the miscalculation is. CIA did its job to complete the coup. I think one of the deputy secretaries of state said that it cost a large sum of money, almost 5 billion. But the political mistake was colossal. Why would they have to do that? All this could have been done legally, without victims, without military action.
It's all
without
a
losing
history
friends.
lesson? Get the
It's the Russians during the World War II. Well, who fought against the Russians during the World War II? Hitler and his accomplices. It turned out that this man served in the SS troops. He personally killed Russians, Poles, and Jews. The SS troops consisted of Ukrainian nationalists who did this dirty work. The president of Ukraine stood up with the entire parliament of Canada and applauded this man. How can this be imagined? The president of Ukraine himself, by the way, is a Jew by nationality.
Really, my question is, what do you do about it? I mean, Hitler's been dead for 80 years. Nazi Germany no longer exists. And so, true. And so, I think what you're saying is you want to extinguish or at least control Ukrainian nationalism. But how? How do you do that?
Вот послушайте меня. Ваш вопрос очень тонкий.
Listen to me. Your question is very subtle, and I can tell you what I think. Do not take offense.
Of course.
Он, казалось бы, тонкий, он очень противный, этот вопрос.
This question appears to be subtle. It is quite pesky.
Значит,
You say Hitler has been dead for so many years, 80 years. But his example lives on. People who exterminated Jews, Russians, and Poles are alive. And the president, the current president of today's Ukraine, applauds him in the Canadian Parliament, gives a standing ovation. Can we say that we have completely uprooted this ideology if what we see is happening today? That is what denazification is in our understanding. We have to get rid of those people who maintain this concept and support this practice and try to preserve it. That is what denazification is. That is what we mean.
Right. My question was a little more specific. It was, of course, not a defense of Nazis, neo or otherwise. It was a practical question. You don't control the entire country. You don't control Kiev. You don't seem like you want to. So how do you eliminate a culture or an ideology or feelings or a view of history in a country that you don't control? What do you do about that?
а вы знаете, как вам не покажется странно, в ходе переговоров в Стамбуле,
You know, as strange as it may seem to you, during the
Margarito
negotiations in
Canales
Istanbul, we
donated
did agree that
$5.
we have it all in writing.
This whole interview is
Neo-Nazism
whack
would not be
because
cultivated in
Tucker
Ukraine,
Carlson didn't
including
push
that
back
it would
on
be prohibited
anything.
at the legislative
Nick
level.
Fuentes would have done a
Mr.
better
Carlson,
job.
we agreed on that. This, it turns out, can be done during the negotiation process. And there's nothing humiliating for Ukraine as a modern civilized state. Is any state allowed to promote Nazism? It is not, is it? That is it.
ведь нет, правда?
Is any state allowed to promote Nazism? Whoa, he just leaked it there. He just leaked who the rulers are. As in, we play by a certain rule set. No one's allowed the Nazi loadout. Nobody's allowed that one. You can't be a National Socialist in Germany.
Will there be talks, and why haven't there been talks about resolving the conflict in Ukraine? Peace talks.
Они были, они дошли до очень высокой стадии согласования позиций, сложно.
They have been. They reached a very high stage of coordination of positions in a complex process, but still they were almost finalized. But after we withdrew our troops from Kiev, as I have already said, the other side threw away all these agreements and obeyed the instructions of Western countries, European countries, and the United States to fight Russia to the bitter end. Moreover, the president of Ukraine has legislated a ban on negotiating with Russia. He signed a decree forbidding everyone to negotiate with Russia. But how are we going to negotiate if he forbade himself and everyone to do this? We know that he is putting forward some ideas about the settlement.
The most mind-blowing thing about the world is that it's always been the socialists who believe in private property versus communists who want to abolish it. That's the two opposing forces. In other words, Zionism and Jewish communism, blue-red. Yeah, we're meant to believe that it's like, oh, free market capitalism versus like Bro, Hitler said capitalista and comunista, the worst people. He said both of them are like the same shit. Well, not the same shit, but from the same source, the Jews. And now it makes sense to me that if you're nationalistic about your nation and a socialist, that makes sense. Like that actually works. I get that. I'm no longer afraid of the word socialism if I'm running a state, a super state.
But in order to agree on something, we need to have a dialogue. Is that not right?
Now it's seen
Well, but
as
you wouldn't be
both the
speaking to the
same
Ukrainian
shit.
president, you'd be speaking to the American
Because in
president.
America,
When
everything's
was the last
left.
time you spoke to Joe Biden?
I cannot remember when I talked to him. I do not remember. We can look it up.
You don't remember?
No. Why? Do I have to remember everything? I have my own things to do. We have domestic political affairs.
Well, he's funding the war that you're fighting, so I would think that would be memorable.
Ну да, он финансирует.
Well, yes, he funds, but I talked to him before the special military operation, of course. And I said to him then, by the way, I will not go into details, I never do, but I said to him then, I believe that you are making a huge mistake of historic proportions by supporting everything that is happening there, in Ukraine, by pushing Russia away. I told him repeatedly, by the way. I think that would be correct if I stop here.
What did he say?
Можно, у него...
Ask him, please. It is easier for you. You are a citizen of the United States. Go and ask him. It is not appropriate for me to comment on our conversation.
But you haven't spoken to him since before February of 2022.
Нет, не разговаривал. Но у нас есть...
No, we haven't spoken.
Кстати говоря,
Certain contacts are being maintained, though. Speaking of which,
про мое предложение...
do you remember what I told you about my proposal to work together on a missile defense system?
Yes.
Да. Вот можно спросить у всех. Они
You can ask all of them. All of them are safe and sound, thank God. The former president, Condoleezza, is safe and sound, and I think Mr. Gates and the current director of the intelligence agency, Mr. Burns, the then ambassador to Russia, in my opinion, are a very successful ambassador.
Они все свидетели этих разговоров.
They were all witnesses to these conversations. Ask them.
Интересно, что ответил.
Same here. If you are interested in what Mr. President Biden responded to me, ask him. At any rate, I talked to him about it.
I'm definitely interested, but from the outside, it seems like this could devolve or evolve into something that brings the entire world into conflict and could initiate a nuclear launch. And so why don't you just call Biden and say, let's work this out?
А что решать? Все очень... всё
What's there to work out? It's very simple. I repeat.
Есть контакты по линии, там различные...
We have contacts through various agencies.
Я вам скажу, что мы говорили.
I will tell you what we are saying on this matter and what we are conveying to the US leadership. If you really want to stop fighting, you need to stop supplying weapons. It will be over within a few weeks. That's it. And then we can agree on some terms. Before you do that, stop. What's easier?
Yeah,
Why would I
that's
call
not
him?
happening.
What should I talk to him about? Or beg him for what?
And what
Вы
messages do you
собираетесь
get back?
поставить такое-то, такое-то оружие на Украину.
You're going to deliver such and such weapons to Ukraine? Oh, I'm afraid, please don't. What is there to talk about?
Do you think NATO is worried about this becoming a global war or a nuclear conflict?
At least that's what they're
Bro in chat says, I miss Hitler, ... You never even met him, bro.
talking about. Trying to intimidate their own population with an imaginary Russian threat. This is an obvious fact. And thinking people, not Philistines, but thinking people, analysts, those who are engaged
Yeah,
in
I think he was
geopolitics,
serious
smart
about
people
joining
understand
NATO,
perfectly
but
well that this
I mean, NATO is pretty much made to say F you to Russia, so it kind of doesn't make sense.
is a fake. They're trying to fuel the Russian
I
threat.
like Trump's plan the best, to dissolve those European socialist countries and say, you pay us, bitch, and NATO becomes just an American weapon, and the EU can just be the Queen's dog.
The threat I think you're referring to is a Russian invasion of Poland, Latvia, expansionist behavior. Can you imagine a scenario where you sent Russian troops to Poland?
Только в одном случае, если со стороны...
Only in one case, if Poland attacks Russia. Why? Because we have no interest in Poland, Latvia, or anywhere else. Why would we do that? We simply don't have any interest. It's just threat mongering.
Well, the argument, I know you know this, is that, well, he invaded Ukraine, he has territorial aims across the continent, and you're saying unequivocally you don't.
Абсолютно, это абсолютно исключено.
It is absolutely out of the question. You just don't have to be any kind of analyst. It goes against common sense to get involved in some kind of a global war.
Глобальная война поставить на грань.
And a global war will bring all humanity to the brink of destruction. It's obvious.
Вот. И есть, конечно, средства.
There are certainly means of deterrence. They have been scaring everyone, with us all along. Tomorrow Russia will use tactical nuclear weapons. Tomorrow Russia will use that. No, the day after tomorrow. So what?
Выбить из налогоплательщиков
In order to extort additional money from US taxpayers and European taxpayers in the confrontation with Russia in the Ukrainian theater of war.
Oh, this got good.
The goal is to weaken Russia as much as possible.
One of our senior United States senators from the state of New York, Chuck Schumer, said yesterday, I believe, that we have to continue to fund the Ukrainian effort, or U.S. soldiers, citizens could wind up fighting there. How do you assess that?
Это провокация.
This is a provocation, and a cheap provocation at that.
Американские солдаты должны воевать.
I do not understand why American soldiers should fight in Ukraine. There are mercenaries from the United States there. The bigger number of mercenaries comes from Poland, with mercenaries from the United States in second place, and mercenaries from Georgia in third place.
Безусловно.
Well, if somebody has the desire to send regular troops, that would certainly bring humanity.
So we're gonna think about Ukraine from an Albanian perspective. Yeah, that's gay. I don't like to think like an Albanian. I like to think like an American because Americans are the winners of history. Okay. And I don't look, if you're not America, I don't give a fuck about your country. That's the truth. Okay? That goes for Canada, Australia, all that. I hate the whole world except the last gates of freedom, which is America. And you know, it's dissolving, but it's the last bit. And if I grow old talking about US, even if it, you know, withers away, I'll grow old talking about the US like that. But the US is the one place on earth that said, you know what? Even though we don't really believe in you guys being our people, we'll still give you a chance. You can still come here and be the shit. And I moved to the US for a couple months and then had the darkest moment of my life. And I said, I'm going to go for the American dream. And a month later, you know, rich, famous, life changed, women, cars, money, all that. The American dream is so real, bro. I'm not even American. I went and milked it. America is the greatest place ever. And yeah. So I'll be living in Miami by like very soon. But this time I don't have to keep flying back. This time I can just stay. But to be honest, living standards wise, I like the American spirit and oversoul, but living standards, if it's not Miami, I don't want to live there. Sorry, Panda, bro. I know you're in LA. Fuck LA. Fuck LA. I like New York, but couldn't do those winters. Fucking Miami. I don't know anything about Florida, but Miami's like the only nice place, man. Miami's got the weather, the people, not just women, right? It's got some hot women. The hottest women are in Miami, for sure, and New York. And that's about it.
To the brink.
No, I'm talking about Lord Panda, right? Lord Panda, your life is just and fighting, like literally. Like you're like living like a male African lion. You're just 3 bitches you on camera and then you just go fight. Like you're individuated. Like you don't get depressed, bro, because you're doing man shit.
Brink of very serious global conflict. This is obvious. Do the United States need this? What for?
No, I could have stayed in Miami much longer if I made a trip back within 6 months, but I stayed a year straight, which is a big no-no. And no, I can go back to the US anytime I want. The problem is I get into some really bad trouble. So I'm like, I'm going to save that for when it's content time, not February, start of the year, bro. Why ADIN say you're banned from America? It's like the one thing he says to his chat to like get them to roast me. It's like, yo, you're banned. Like a Jew banned me from America or something. I don't know what the theme is, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not saying this as a joke or anything. ADIN looks at me like I'm his hero, bro. Like look in his eyes when he talks about me. It's like he has a gay crush, bro. It's fucking weird. Go watch any of our content together. He like lights up like a schoolgirl. I don't light up for him, bro. Like the guy's clearly in love with me, bro. Like low key he loves me, but low key I feel like ADIN is he doesn't want to be that guy, you know? He wants to be like hey, look at me, I'm black. He's that guy. You know what I mean? If ADIN stopped pretending to be something he's not, he's very likable. Like all of his content when he's acting normal is cool. Even the sus stuff is cool. It's funny sometimes, except the touching. That shit's funny. But when he's trying to be like the black guy in class, like that shit is so lame to me, bro. Like, bro, just you're a Jew, be you, right? You know, you don't gotta even cuff him. Cuff him gotta stop pretending he's black. He's not black.
Thousands of miles away from your national territory.
It's like if I dropped a rap album, wouldn't you guys be like, yo, Zherka, this is ridiculous? You guys would be calling me out on it. You'd be like, what the fuck are you trying to do, Zherka? That's what I feel like anyone who watches ADIN is like just trying to be a hip, what do they call it? Like the black guys who aren't even, they don't even have the temperament of like Lure Panda, let's fight. They have the temperament of like, let's play video games with Cuffham and Convy and...
Don't you have anything better to do? You have issues on the border, issues with migration, issues with the national debt, more than $33 trillion. You have nothing better to do, so you should fight in Ukraine?
Yeah, the Keys to the Lambo thing was a joke. Stop it, bro. I didn't actually make the song.
Already understanding the situation that is developing today,
Someone said all black people are same, question mark? Bro, I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about that white kid in school who buys Jordans and tries to sound black. How do you know? Everyone knows who the I'm talking about. You don't have one kid in your school who done that? Yo, ban these. This guy saying I hate niggas. Ban this guy out of my chat, bro. You are a weird look for me, bro. This is Wigga TV. Alright? This is... I don't try... Zherka describing himself. I don't try and be black. I am half and half immigrant. And now I'm going for a white man load up. I'm trying to be white now. Damn, some of you guys think I'm attacking Aiden. Bro, he's a likable guy. It's just when he says things like, No, I feel that. No, I feel you, chat. Like, when he does that, it just looks out of character. Like, when Aiden's being adorable, he's just a nice little Jewish kid. And then sometimes he'll, like, sit next to Chris Brown and become someone else, bro.
Realizing that Russia will fight for its interests to the end. And realizing this, actually return to common sense, start respecting our country and its interests, and look for certain solutions. It seems to me...
Okay, yo, I'm just gonna say it, bro. If you're offended, I didn't even attack Aiden, bro. If you're that offended for Aiden, you're a... You think he gives a about you? He got his $50 million and you think he cares about you, bro? You guys are crazy, man. Like, there's actual kids offended. Bro, all I said is he acts. He tries to be, you know, the cool guy sometimes, and it's like, that's the only part I don't like. Right? It's like when I just try and be a pedo as a joke. You guys don't like that. And I see the critique. I get it. I know where you're coming from. You have younger sisters.
That this is much smarter and more rational.
Who blew up Nord Stream?
You for sure.
I was busy that day. Nate, do you have I did not blow up Nord Stream. Thank you, though.
Oh, shit. Accused
Personally, I have
Tucker.
an alibi, but the CIA has no such alibi.
Did you have evidence that NATO or the CIA did it?
Tucker's the biggest CIA agent.
I won't get into details, but people always say in such cases, look for someone who is interested. But in this case, we should not only look for someone who is interested, but also for someone who has capabilities. Because there may be many people interested, but not all of them are capable of...
The guy spamming... Bro, the dude in chat spamming, did Aiden ban you from Miami? I'm afraid to even answer you because your name is and I'm worried you're going to do some of that Jewish boy. You're scaring the shit out of me, bro. Aiden's a good guy. You're terrifying me, bro. It's all jokes until that guy goes live with a tattoo and shit. Or it's like imagine it's a black guy with a tattoo just going after Aiden for me. Nah, Aiden's I've met evil people. Aiden's not evil. He's just godless, you know. He's just an atheist.
Sinking to the bottom of the Baltic Sea and carrying out this explosion. These two components should be connected. Who is interested and who is capable of doing it.
But I'm confused. I mean, that's the biggest act of industrial terrorism ever. and it's the largest emission of CO2 in history. Okay, so if you had evidence and presumably...
All right, here's the truth, bro. He put 5 dudes with upside down crosses on his stream to like 500,000 kids watching. I'm not trying to go to hell, bro. That's your guy. That's not my guy.
given your security services or intel...
Out of here, bro.
That NATO, the US, CIA, the West did this, why wouldn't you present it and win a propaganda victory?
In the war of propaganda, it is very difficult to defeat the United States, because the United States controls all the world's media and many...
No, yeah, Aiden's harmless. He's cute. He doesn't know what he's doing. Here's the truth, bro. If you look at our interactions, I don't remember one time I didn't just sun him. Like, I was just mean to him for no reason. But that's just how I am, you know? Some people can hang. But, yeah, I was like, every time he spoke, I'd say, shut up, Jew.
European media. The ultimate beneficiary of
Whatever,
the European media are
rich
American
people can
financial
take it, bro.
institutions.
Don't distract me.
Don't you know that? So it is possible to get involved in this work.
This is where he
but it
accuses
is
him.
cost prohibitive, so to speak. We can simply shine the spotlight on our sources of information, and we will not achieve results. It is clear to the whole world what happened, and even American analysts talk about it directly. It's true.
Yes, but here's a question you may be able to answer. You worked in Germany, famously. The Germans clearly know that their NATO partner did this, and it damaged their economy greatly. It may never recover. Why are they being silent about it? That's very confusing to me. Why wouldn't the Germans say something about it?
Ah, very good question.
This also confuses me. But today's German leadership is guided by the interests of the collective West rather than its national interests. Otherwise, it is difficult to explain the logic of their action or inaction.
Bill Cosby donated $5. ADIN is evil in the same way that Mr. Beast is evil. They're only happy if they're the ones pulling the strings. As soon as that power is removed, the true colors come out.
Yeah, I don't know him that well, but if I had to eat lunch with one of these top kid streamers, Speed's cool, Albania on top, and Kai's cool, and there's no malicious energy from them, right? They don't seem angry.
After all, it is not only about Nord Stream 1, which was blown up, and the Nord Stream 2 was damaged. But one pipe is safe and sound, and gas can be supplied to Europe through it. But Germany does not open it. We're ready, please. There's another route through Poland, called Yamal Europe, which also allows for large flow. Poland has closed it, but Poland pecks from the German hand, it receives money from the pan-European funds, and Germany is the main donor to these pan-European funds. Germany feeds Poland to a certain extent. And they close their route to Germany. Why? I don't understand. Ukraine, to which the Germans supply weapons and give money. Germany is the second sponsor of the United States in terms of financial aid to Ukraine. There are 2 gas routes through Ukraine. They simply closed one route, the Ukrainians. Open the second route and please get gas from Russia. They do not open it. Why don't the Germans say, look guys, we give you money and weapons, open up the valve, please. Let
Where
the
does
gas
he
from
call
Russia
him
pass through for us.
CIA?
We're buying liquefied gas at exorbitant prices in Europe, which brings the level of our competitiveness and economy in general down to zero. Do you want us to give you money? Let us have the decent existence, to make money for our economy, because this is where the money we give you comes from. They refuse to do so. Why? Ask them. That is what is like in their heads. Those are highly incompetent people.
Well, maybe the world is breaking into 2 hemispheres, one with cheap energy, the other without. And I want to ask you that. If we're now a multipolar world, obviously we are, can you describe the blocks of alliances? Who is in each side, do you think?
Listen, you have said that the world is breaking into 2 hemispheres. A human brain is divided into 2 hemispheres.
Oh,
One is responsible for one type of activities, the other one is more about creativity and so on. But it is still one and the same head. The world should be a single whole. Security should be shared rather than meant for the golden billion.
whoa.
That is the only scenario where the world could be stable, sustainable, and predictable. Until then, while the head is split in 2 parts, it is an illness, a serious adverse condition. It is a period of severe disease that the world is going through now. But I think that, thanks to honest journalism, this work is akin to work of the doctors. This could somehow be remedied.
Well, let's just give one example, the US dollar, which has kind of united the world in a lot of ways, maybe not to your advantage, but certainly ours. Is that going away as the reserve currency, the universally accepted currency? How have sanctions, do you think, changed the dollar's place in the world?
You know, to use the dollar as a tool of foreign policy struggle is one of the biggest strategic mistakes made by the US political leadership. The dollar is the cornerstone of the United States power. I think everyone understands very well that no matter how many dollars are printed, they are quickly dispersed all over the world.
По-моему, 3%, примерно 3-4, что ли. Вот, приемлемо для США абсолютно.
Inflation in the United States is minimal. It's about 3 or 3.4%, which is, I think, totally acceptable for the US. But they won't stop printing. What does the debt of $33 trillion tell us about? It is about the emission.
33, huh?
Доллар в качестве инструмента политической борьбы.
Nevertheless, it is the main weapon used by the United States to preserve its power across the world.
Is
As
Nico
soon as the
sparring
political
again?
leadership decided to use the US dollar as a tool of political struggle, a blow was dealt to this American power. I would not like to use any strong language, but it is a stupid thing to do and a grave mistake.
Сокращаются запасы доллара. Все смотрят на то, что происходит, и начинают искать.
Look at what is going on in the world. Even the United States allies are now downsizing their dollar reserves. Seeing this, everyone starts looking for ways to protect themselves. But the fact that the United States applies restrictive measures to certain countries, such as placing restrictions on transactions, freezing assets, etc., causes great concern and sends a signal to the whole world. What did we have here? Until 2022, about 80% of Russian foreign trade transactions were made in US dollars and euros. US dollars accounted for approximately 50% of our transactions with third countries, while currently it is down to 13%. It wasn't us who banned the use of the US dollar.
США приняли решение ограничить наши расчеты в долларе.
We had no such intention. It was decision of the United States to restrict our transactions in US dollars. I think it is complete foolishness from the point of view of the interests of the United States itself and its taxpayers, as it damages the US economy, undermines the power of the United States across the world. By the way, our transactions in
Tucker
yuan
doesn't have
accounted
an
for about
earpiece?
3%.
Сейчас 34%.
Today, 34% of our transactions are made in rubles, and about as much, a little over 34% in yuan.
Зачем Соединенные Штаты это сделали?
Why did the United States do this? My only guess is self-conceit. They probably thought it would lead to full collapse, but nothing. Moreover, other countries, including oil producers, are thinking of and already accepting payments for oil in yuan. Do you even
He
realize what
speaks
is going on or not?
Russian?
Does anyone in the
yeah,
United
he's
States
CIA
realize?
is
Те же Соединенные Штаты.
What are you doing? You are cutting yourself off. All experts say this.
То, что всегда...
Ask any intelligent and thinking person in the United States what the dollar means for the US.
No way.
You're killing it with your own hands.
I think that's I think it's a fair assessment. The question is what comes next, and maybe you trade one colonial power for another, much less sentimental and forgiving colonial power. I mean, is the BRICS, for example, in danger of being completely dominated by the Chinese economy, in a way that's not good for their sovereignty? Do you worry about that?
Эти страшилки нам...
Well, we have heard those boogeyman stories before. It is a boogeyman story. We're neighbors with China. You cannot choose neighbors just as you cannot choose close relatives. We share a border of 1,000 kilometers with them. This is number one. Second, we have a centuries-long history of coexistence. We're used to it. Third, China's foreign policy philosophy is not aggressive. Its idea is to always look for compromise, and we can see that. The next point is as follows. We are always told the same boogeyman story, and here it goes again. Through an euphemistic form, but it is still the same boogeyman story. The cooperation with China keeps increasing. The pace at which China's cooperation with Europe is growing is higher and greater than...
Oh, hell yeah. Are they talking?